Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds. And here with me today, I have a diamond in the rough I'd like you to meet. This here is Austin Gentle. He is an offensive lineman out of Harvard. Nice to have you on, sir.
It's nice to be here.
So, a lot of great talent coming out of the Ivy League, as usual. And I feel like people really need to know this guy, because he's an offensive lineman who could be like the next great offensive lineman coming out of the Ivy League. So, finished up the year. You ended up having a share of the Ivy League title. But before we move on and share some more of that, those stats and stuff, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and let's get started.
Yes, sir. My name's Austin Gentle. I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee. I studied government at Harvard. I'm going to be graduating in May. I'm a three-year starter at Harvard. Started for 3 years with every game, every start consecutively. Um, I've been all conference three times at Harvard. Let's see. I'm from a football family. My every male in my family, well, starting with my dad. So me. My dad, me, my twin brother, and my younger brother have all gone on to play D1 football. So huge football family. Yeah.
Gotcha. You've given me a whole lot of information there, so let's try to unpack it. So, you said you're a twin?
Yes, sir. I am an identical twin, and my twin went to Harvard with me and also played center.
My goodness. And obviously that I don't know, brings a new wrinkle to this thing. Of course, I mean, we're looking at you as a twin. I'm just kind of wondering how many times you guys were mistaken for each other. I suppose that when you're out there on the football field, I mean, you have different jersey numbers, so that makes things a little easier for your coaches. So, um, but you had mentioned your dad had played as well. Uh, where did he go to school?
Yes, sir. So my dad went to MTSU, Middle Tennessee, and
Nice.
he a defensive end. And
Okay.
then in addition, my dad, my younger brother, is a current defensive end at Tennessee, University of Tennessee.
Wow. So, yeah, a lot of guys in your family, who have played or are currently playing. So, certainly interesting. Um, I have in my notes, Austin, you attended McCallie School in Chattanooga before, obviously, heading to Harvard. So let's start there. And also have in my notes, along with football, you were a standout wrestler, and you also did some track and field. So why don't we start there and talk about your high school days?
Sure. So Macaulay's an all-boys school in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I attended there from seventh grade until graduation. It's a great experience for me. Great academics. The athletics are amazing. During my time at Macaulay, we won two different state championships, and I participated on three different sports teams. I wrestled, which I think really helped me in my football development. And then additionally, track and field, which I did shot put and discus. Towards the end, I was just doing shot put, but that was great for strength training and developing myself as a lineman. Um, Going to Macaulay was a wonderful experience. I definitely think it helped me get ready to go play Division I level.
Cool. So, and as you had mentioned, I mean, of course, wrestling is something I know for a fact that a whole lot of scouts love when you have a guy that plays on the line that has some experience as a wrestler. Obviously, things like that, like they help so much when you're thinking about things like grip strength, understanding leverages, and even just kind of like the head-to-head mentality. Um, I obviously you were a standout wrestler. I do want to park there for just a minute. What was your overall experience, as a wrestler, win-loss record, anything you want to share real quick about those times?
Yeah, I'm having trouble remembering my exact record, but I went, I was third in the state tournament as a sophomore. And then I went to nationals later on, and I think I went 2-2. I actually wrestled one of my buddies who went to Harvard with me. So I'd beat him in that tournament. So I gave him a little bit of crap about that, which was fun.
Well, Hey, that stuff sounds great. We get a guy who very successful in high school, and not just in football, but in other sports as well, which obviously, you know, gives you something on your resume to use as a recruit. Um, you're coming out of McCallie School and you're being recruited. Obviously, Harvard's a great school. No disrespect to Harvard, but I am just kind of curious. What other schools were in the running, when you were coming out of school? Can you elaborate a little bit on that and obviously tell me why you went Harvard?
Yes, sir, absolutely. So I was a four-star for most of my time in high school. I had Texas A&M, Ole Miss, NC State, Memphis, Tulane. Those are the ones I was really considering outside of Harvard. So what kind of led me to choose Harvard over those other schools was, well, one, an opportunity to, play with my brother. That was a wonderful experience. I mean, getting to go to one of the best schools in the world is also, it's hard to say no to that, you know? And then additionally, just the coaches there, Coach Murphy at the time, Coach Kennedy at the time were great resources for me. And I don't regret my choice at all. I think it was the best decision I made.
Yeah, I mean, as you had mentioned, if someone gives you an opportunity to play Harvard, why in the world would you turn that down?
Yeah,
It's just, again, like you said, it is one of the best schools anywhere, and to be able to, have that on your resume, to be able to have that degree that you can, perhaps maybe display somewhere in the near future is awesome. I mean, yeah, how can you say no? So. Um, but very rich tradition there at Harvard. Just overall, if we're being real, offensively, defensively, of course, academically. You had also mentioned your major was government, which I find that very interesting. So, you were did you already finish up academically there? I mean, what's your status on that front?
yes, sir. So I am a going into my second semester as a senior. So I have one more semester left. And I have, let's see, one more government class I have to take, and then I'll be done with that. But uh, so you'll find this funny, but at Harvard we'll call them concentrations rather than majors. But so my
Sure.
government concentration, my thought process with that is eventually I'd like to get into law. I'd like to practice law, and I think that this is good way to prep for that, being a
I
government
mean,
concentration.
I kind of assumed that that might be where you're going with it. I mean, I didn't know maybe if when I think of government, I was thinking maybe this guy wants to get into politics. I don't know if that ever crossed your mind at all. And I was sitting here doing the research, and I'm like, Gerald Ford played football. Um, for what it's worth. So you never know what's going to happen like in the next, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years. I don't
Yeah,
know.
we'll
What do
see.
you think?
Yeah, I'll check in with you in maybe 30 years or so. We'll see.
That sounds like a plan. It would be interesting to see what's going on. Certainly some fun things there. Obviously ended up at Harvard, did have a whole lot of other options there for you, but you landed at Harvard. And as we've mentioned, you've been a starter there for the past 3 seasons. And consecutively at that. I mean, you have yet to, I mean, you pretty much went these past 3 seasons without taking yourself off the field, which is awesome. Playing both center and guard. Can you elaborate just a little bit about your overall experience there? Maybe even just describe the offense in general there at Harvard.
Yes, sir. So my true sophomore year, I played left guard at the time. Our center, Scott Elliott, he was a great hard football player. He went on to play at Duke after graduating. But I started out left guard, and then my junior year, I moved to center, and played center for 2 years. So I would say our offensive scheme changed a little bit between my junior and senior year just because there was a change in coaching staff, kind of a shift more towards zone rather than gap schemes. So a lot of experience with counter power my sophomore, junior year, and then bit of a shift more towards inside outside zone. Um, and then additionally, I mean, just other changes associated with coaching staff change, with like different calls, different systems. So, I mean, I guess if you're looking for proof I can learn a different playbook, that's an example of that. I may not answer your question so well, but
No, you're doing just fine. You're actually answering other questions down my list. So I mean, it's okay. You're
okay.
fine. Um, you had mentioned again, just kind of overall experience there, being utilized as a guard, as a center, having different coaches, being asked to run different schemes, of course. And so we are looking at a guy who is a bit versatile. But besides that, is there anything else about you as an athlete that you feel maybe perhaps separates you from other people that play your position?
Absolutely. I think there are a few things. I think relative to other centers, I think like wrestling strength, weight room strength is a differentiator. I've worked really hard in the weight room, and this season especially, I noticed differences and improvements in that regard. I think that my area quickness is really good for an interior offensive lineman. Been able to get them the second level really well and bend. I think I have good leverage and ability to get underneath people a lot of times, which has helped me
Well,
to win
hey,
first.
keep going. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yo, you're good. I'm done.
Okay, good. No, good. I'm just sitting here, writing all these notes. I mean, again, you had mentioned it, good quality strength, obviously, some short area quickness, which you certainly need, and just kind of, I don't know. And I think again, I kind of go back to that, wrestling mentality where, you have to be a competitor. So despite what your last name is, you're not quite the gentle character. When, the ball is snapped, because you have to be able to dominate that guy in front of you. I'm sorry I had to say that. I mean, that's kind of one thing that I've been waiting to say since I got on. But yeah, I mean, something obviously worth it for you as a prospect who, obviously is a guy who, wants to make it to the next level. When, I don't know, maybe, you're growing up in Tennessee, is there a guy at the next level who, maybe perhaps you studied or you were a big fan of growing up? I mean, who was that for you, growing up, there in Chattanooga?
Well, not in Tennessee, but I mean, Jason Kelsey is my favorite player to watch. I mean, similar size player, but then additionally, just he's a technician and he knows the game so well. I mean, I think it was really exciting for me when I figured out at Harvard that I we get to see the Eagles tape, so or not all the tape, but we can get to see some of the games and just kind of getting to study those guys is awesome.
Hey, I mean, and you get a guy who has, you know, hoisted a Lombardi trophy. I mean, why not? I mean, why not, study, one of the best of, obviously right now not playing, enjoying his retirement right now. He's very fun to watch, actually. In some of the other, things that he's doing, which is certainly fun. So do want to talk a little bit more about Harvard again. We all know about the rich history. Focusing just on these past couple seasons, you guys were able to, at the very least, share the Ivy League title. Um, Talk about maybe perhaps, I don't know, some of the highlights of these past couple seasons for you. Maybe this one. Give me one of your best moments if you want to share.
Yeah. Let's think about it.
There's a lot of them, so I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah. Well, for me personally, after we had a heartbreaking loss to Brown, where we lost at the very end, and then we play University of New Hampshire, who was rated at the time, and we played really really well. The O line played great. We It was like we were like a machine. That's how it felt, And I was really proud of our guys, and I was lucky enough to win our Offensive Player of the Week that week. So, I
great.
mean, that was one highlight for me that I really enjoyed.
I mean,
Um,
that says a whole lot, if you think about it. Offensive Player of the Week, a center. That's a big deal. And then of course, you're playing against New Hampshire, who was ranked, um, who is actually currently in the FCS playoffs, which is kind of annoying if you think about it. Um, I know the Ivy Leagues. There are some rumblings that they're trying their best to get themselves into that tournament. Um, I want to get your thoughts really quick because I think a lot of students they feel the exact same way. Talk about your thoughts about you running with some of these other monster programs.
Yeah, I think speaking on behalf of Harvard football guys, I think they can compete with anybody and they want to participate. I think the Crimson had an article about this actually pretty recently where our AD was t talking about how she had requested that there's a meeting to discuss this. So hopefully hopefully next year, maybe it might be the year after that, but we could see some Ivy League teams playing in the playoff. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, how can you get a legitimate champion if not everyone is playing?
Yeah.
That's just that's my 2 cents. I know it's a little controversial for some people, but I mean, I'm just gonna, put that out there.
Sure.
um, but hey, you guys, have been, very successful. Of course, great program. Let's talk a little bit more about the guys there at Harvard. The guys, alongside you. Talk about some of your teammates. Who has impressed you the most there during your tenure with Harvard?
Yeah, so I may be a little biased, but two of my roommates who are current seniors have impressed me a lot. Um, well, more than just two, but I'm just thinking these two guys. But so Michael Entwistle, our left guard, he had a great senior season. And then Jacob Syke, one of our defensive ends, had a great year. He was the Ivy League sack leader and TFL leader. So the progression these guys made and just how hard I've seen them work, it's been amazing. And then additionally, just seeing the progression of our quarterback from his sophomore to junior year. It's been incredible. I'm looking forward to seeing him next year.
Gotcha. I'm curious how Harvard's going to look next season. I mean, again, you have some of those players that you had mentioned that are coming back, but a lot of guys who aren't for whatever reason or another. Well, one thing about the Ivy Leagues is they don't let guys stick around with extra eligibility. And so I'm looking at the transfer portal these days, and I'm seeing a whole lot of names coming through, which is just an incredible thing. And I actually saw your name in there as a guy who maybe weighing his options. Can you walk me through that a little bit? Like maybe the mentality right now of where you're at.
Yes, sir. So my goal has been since I've started playing football to make it to the NFL, and my my thought process is to weigh my options and see the best means of getting there. So if it's this year, I'd love to go this year. If it's next year, it'll be next year. But um, just kind of talking to my family and figuring out what the best options are. So that's my plan
No,
currently.
hey, I understand that completely. Um, I want to say there was a couple seasons ago where you guys had a really good edge rusher.
Mm.
Like Truman Jones really just you know killing it. And the thing is people were wondering what was happening with him, and he puts his name in the portal, and he gets all these like amazing offers out of the SEC, and so he's like, hold up, I'm gonna I'm gonna take this all in. Are you telling me that all these guys in like the top programs in the whole nation they want me? And if that's the case, he was like, well, if that's the case, then I'm just gonna go to the NFL because I mean, obviously I can play this game and I'm ready to compete. And maybe that's you. We don't know. I mean, of course, you're trying to weigh your options right now to see, where people are at. So, hey, it's certainly an interesting thing that's going to develop over these next few weeks, months, whatever, however, whenever you do make that decision, of course. But I do want to let some people know. Obviously, we have one of the best centers in all of the FCS, who is I don't know, maybe coming out, maybe gonna head, somewhere to one of the top programs in the FBS. Gonna happen very soon. I know you're very highly rated, for in PFF. What do you have to say about some of these people who, I don't know, maybe perhaps some doubters about you? Any comments?
Um, Not particularly, just I think watch tape, watch film, and I mean, I'll work as hard as I can. You can only control what you can control. Um, Nothing particularly directed towards them, but um, hopefully my tape and effort speaks for itself.
Gotcha. You had mentioned, obviously, of course, taking pride in your preparation, and of course, your what you have been able to accomplish, like in the weight room. I do need to ask, what's your favorite lift?
Probably hang power clean is my favorite lift.
Okay,
Uh,
and PR.
so haven't got to max out, but not in a while. I will this spring, so that'll be good. But 390, hopefully to get to 405. That'll be the goal.
For a clean.
Hang power clean. Yes, sir.
Wow, that's actually a really good number for people who really don't pay attention to those things. Typically, it's maybe just a little bit less than that, but when you get a guy who can clean, whether it be power or hang clean, upwards in that amount, that's a really awesome number. So kudos to you, Mr. Gentle, for really, putting it all together there in the weight room. I do want to have a moment to really beat this guy outside of football somewhat, which we've learned about you as a student, but I mean, I also want to learn about you as the guy. And so, tell me a little bit about yourself, fun facts, hobbies, interests, any special talents, anything you want to share about yourself. Go for it.
Well, I mentioned earlier I'm a twin. That's normally my fun fact.
Yeah.
Um, well, I love to listen to audiobooks. I'll play video games sometimes. Let's see.
So when you say audiobooks, what's the most recent one?
Ooh, I should check. It's kind of nerdy, but different mythologies are interesting. Um, I've gotten into like spy novels as well. Jack Reacher books.
Okay.
So, all kinds of stuff, to be honest with you.
Well, hey, it's nice. It's nice to get some recommendations every so often. I try my best to read a little bit of everything, so it's nice. See if I can throw a couple questions your way. Austin, I'm speaking to you right before Thanksgiving, and so I have to ask, what's your favorite side dish for Thanksgiving?
So my mom makes the best mac and cheese I've ever had. It's the best thing at Thanksgiving. Well, one of the best things at Thanksgiving, but best mac and cheese for sure. So that'd be my.
So, so does she do the breadcrumbs? Does she do jalapenos? What does bacon? What does she put in it that makes it so special?
I need to watch her. I need to watch her this time. But different types of cheeses, I would say. But it's really good. I'll say that.
Okay. Certainly, you don't want to have too many people in the kitchen, of course, but I mean, if you can get that recipe, obviously you got to get it while you can. And of course, thank mom while you're at it. A couple other more fun facts. Just want to get from you maybe some rapid fire questions really quick. Um, uh, do you have a favorite movie?
Favorite movie. Um, ooh, Shawshank Redemption.
Man, you and I, we click on a lot of these things. I just want to let you know. I mean, I could certainly appreciate that one on so many levels. A lot of great actors in that movie. So let's see. You have any pets?
I do. She's around here somewhere. I have West Highland Terrier dog.
Nice. Trying to see if let's see. Favorite snack food?
Ooh. Um, Probably beef jerky.
Beef jerky. Okay. Is there like a
I have
particular brand or something you go with or what?
like teriyaki. Teriyaki's great.
Okay, okay, that works. Uh, Trying to see if there's anything else. Uh, is there, I don't know, maybe perhaps a talent that you'd love to have, whether that be, you know, learning another language or playing an instrument or anything of that nature? Is there something that you wish you could add to your own skill set?
Hmm. I let's see. I can speak a little bit of Spanish. If I could be fully fluent in Spanish, that'd be great.
Okay. May perhaps giving you an opportunity to go someplace that does speak a little bit more Spanish. What would be perhaps your favorite vacation spot
Hmm. Um, I don't know. That's one thing I hadn't really thought
or
about.
dream vacation spot? Let's
Yeah.
say it that way.
Visiting Spain would be interesting. Would be interesting.
Okay.
Heard a lot of Harvard students will do a semester in Spain. So I can't really do that with football, but it would be interesting to see just try that out briefly. So
Okay. Sounds like fun. Austin, do need to wrap up our time. It's been fun. I was trying to go through as many of these silly questions here just for fun. But we do need to wrap up our time. It's been interesting meeting you as a player and as a person. Interesting guy, very athletic, able to do a whole lot of great things. Very strong, quick, has good understanding of the game. As we wrap up, give me your final thoughts. Tell all these people, whether it's pro teams or obviously you're in the portal, other guys who might be interested. Tell them why you would make a great addition to their team. Go ahead and close this out.
yes, sir. So I mean, I think the most important thing about me is I absolutely love football. Um, I I think my teammates would describe me as somebody who's obsessed with the game and trying to get better at the game. Um, I pick up playbooks really quickly. I think that's a benefit of having me. Very coachable, dedicated. I care about my teammates a lot. I'm a locker room guy. Let's see. I think if you pick me up, you won't be able to get rid of me. You won't want to get rid of me. I'll be the first one there. I'll be the last one to leave. I think it'll be tough to find somebody who cares more than me about the game.
Hey, obviously you said all the right things. I mean, you'd be getting a solid all-around guy who, can really help your team succeed. So, um, Austin, I want to wish you all the best moving forward. Happy Thanksgiving, and of course, uh, just want to wish you the best.
Well, thank you. Have a good Thanksgiving.
All right, man. Once again, I got Austin Gentle, offensive lineman, Harvard. Check this guy out.